This episode of Film Riot is brought to you by Netflix and Squarespace. Welcome to Film Riot, the show that takes mystery out of the effects and techniques that go into some of your favorite Hollywood films. Today we're going to be reviewing 3 low-price cameras to show you what kind of quality you can get without needing your own personal stimulus plan. That was a smart joke, huh?
In the beginning, Adam bites the apple. In 1903, the first narrative film is made. In 93, Spielberg says F you to evolution. And in 2009, Film Riot is released to the world.
Want to be a filmmaker? Well, so do I. Let's figure it out. We're going to be following Triton Films from pre to post-production as we make our latest short film, Tell. Along the way, we're going to be showing you how to accomplish great effects with little to no budget. And every now and again, we'll be jumping over to Full Sail University to get you advice from the pros.
So grab some popcorn and get comfortable. This is Film Riot. Now lately I've been noticing a lot of comments on Facebook, Twitter, and email where people think you can't get good quality unless you're rolling on a camera that's around $10,000. And that's just not the case. I mean, sure, it helps, but if you don't have that amount of cash chilling in a mattress somewhere, it's not hopeless. Then I got an email that gave me a great idea. Do you think you could do an episode where you review lower priced cameras? I think a lot of people would be into it. Well, Joe, I agree. But I'm going to take it one step further. Whichever of these 3 $100,000 price cameras come out on top in the end, I'm going to use to shoot Film Riot for the next month or so, just to show that you don't need a ton of money to make some good stuff. Thanks to the good people at Canon and Sony, we have 3 $100,000 price cameras to review. We had 4, but then I realized the one had only an SD with no HD option, and I deemed it pointless. Like a Twilight sequel. Oh. Bring on the hate mail. To test these, I decided to replicate a shot from last week's sketch, which was shot on the Canon XLH1, which goes for about $8,000 right now. So first up is the CX100. This small $400 camera has much better image quality than I was expecting, and its face detection technology helps a lot with the camera's ability for quick focus and smart automatic exposure choices. It has a 2.7-inch LCD, which is touchscreen. Now this made me feel pretty cool, like I was the filmmaking James Bond, but it left fingerprints all over the LCD and it was really hard to see in the sunlight. The coolest feature on this camera was the in-camera slow-mo option, which takes the regular 60 frames per second and jacks it up to 200 frames per second for some really cool slow-mo shots. The downside to this is that in slow mode, the image quality drops dramatically, and it can only record 3 seconds of real-time footage, which then once slowed turns to 12 seconds. But if you use it strategically, you can get some really cool stuff out of it. Now for audio, you're going to be resorting to the on-camera mic only. This camera has no audio input, which means you can't use any external devices like a shotgun mic or lavalier, which is going to be really difficult when you're trying to shoot a short film. Also, while shooting outside, this camera had some serious lens flare issues. I just couldn't seem to get rid of them. So the upsides of this camera are decent image quality for the price, sleek design that makes you feel like James Bond, and in-camera slow motion. The downsides are, the camera can be awkward to hold because of the rounded top, the LCD gets smudged easily, the lens flares, there's no audio input, and although the slow-mo is really cool, the image quality is very rough and requires a lot of light. Final verdict, for the price, this is a pretty decent starter camera. Next up, the Sony Hdr Xr 200V. This big brother to the CX100 comes in at about $900 and has a lot of the same features, including the LCD, which has the same touchscreen with the same smudging issues. It also has the same lack of audio inputs and the same sexy slow-mo feature. Happily, the image quality seems a touch better in slow-mo on this camera than the CX100, but it's still limited to the 3 seconds of recording. The quality of this camera overall is a big improvement, including the audio, although that one's a little more on the slight side, and it feels a lot better in your hand. Just like the CX100, the XR200V has both manual exposure and focusing controls. The sucky part is there's no external controls, it's all access to the LCD touchscreen, which makes pulling focus or adjusting your exposure on the fly pretty much impossible. The best thing about this camera was the image stabilization. With the image stabilization on, it almost looked like I was using the camera on a Steadicam. Just to show you what I mean, here are some examples. The The downsides of this camera are no audio inputs, fingerprints on the LCD, the same lens flare issue, no viewfinder, which makes filming in the sun a real pain, and though the image quality is better than the CX100, still not good enough for me to want to shell out $900 for. The upsides are, it has a small design to make it easier to get tough shots, decent image quality, cool touchscreen functionality, great slow-mo function, and an amazing image stabilizer. Final verdict, it's a nice camera with some impressive features, but in my opinion, not good enough for the price tag.
Hello, friend. Whoa! Where are you off to, Tiger?
I'm gonna go rent a movie.
Go rent a movie? Like at the rental store?
Yeah.
Now, why would you want to do that and risk getting mangled in a horrible vehicle collision?
I just want to go rent a movie, man.
Woo! Good golly, it is hot in here, am I right?
Okay.
Hello, friend.
You're in the front seat.
You should just use Netflix.
Netflix?
You betcha, sport. They have over 90,000 titles online, including a whole lot of Blu-ray. That's like a James Dean, Audrey Hepburn sandwich on rye.
That's...
Yeah, they ship to and from your house for free. And you typically get it within one business day with the Daily Gazette. You like the Daily Gazette, don't you?
Listen, I'm just gonna go to...
Why? Hello, friend. Netflix plans start at just $4.99. And as a new member, you get a free 2-week trial. Check it out at netflix.com/Film Riot.
Okay.
Okay! Oh, and, my friend. Use Netflix.
Weird. Oh, come on. Come on.
I took this out of your car, friend.
The final camera I'll be testing is the Canon HP40. This $999 camera is the upgrade to the HP30. The most notable add-ons are true 1080 24p recording and an ND filter, which helps a lot when shooting outside. Right off the bat, I was really impressed with the HP40. The camera feels really solid in your hand, and the LCD is really clear and made it a lot easier to double check my focus and exposure, both of which were a lot easier to control. The HP40 has a wheel on the side of the camera to manually shift focus, so unlike the other cameras, it is actually possible to pull focus mid-shot. Of course, you can also manually adjust your exposure, and unlike the other two cameras, the HP40 can also adjust the iris manually. Now, the most important things on this camera for me was the surprisingly good image quality, which I did not expect from an under $1,000 camera, the option for an audio in-jack, which means you can use a shotgun mic or a lav, which the other cameras did not have, and the option for 24p recording, which, if you're trying to get the film look, is very, very important. The downsides to the HP40 is there's no slow-mo, the focus wheel can be a little difficult, and at times the autofocus was a little bit sluggish. Final verdict, the HP40 is an excellent camera in its price range and a smart choice for a beginning filmmaker.
Now it's time for a fantastically terrible moment in cinema.
Keep an eye out for you, Stingray.
Yeah, see ya. That was both fantastic and terrible.
Manage your entire Squarespace site on the go with the new Squarespace iPhone application. You can post and edit blog entries and upload pictures on the fly. Snap photos on your phone and quickly post them to your blog. And content management is super easy. All of your posts will be accessible directly from your Manage tab. You can edit drafts, delete posts, and preview posts with ease. And best of all, you can manage multiple accounts. Your Accounts tab allows you to manage content from multiple Squarespace sites. You can save a draft post from one site and then easily jump to another site to schedule a post for later in the day. So jump over to squarespace.com and get your site going. And when you do, be sure to use the promo code FilmRiot to get 10% off the life of your order.
So for my purposes, neither of the Sonys would cut it. Having 24 frames per second and an audio in is an absolute must for me. Plus, the HB40's image quality was much better than the other two Sonys. And although I'll miss the slow-mo functionality, it was really the only reason I was considering the Sonys. So for the next month or so, I will be shooting the show using the Canon HB40. I'm filming you, filming me. I'm filming you, filming me. And that's it. As always, if you have something you'd like to see on the show, you can email me at filmriot@revision3.com. You can also follow me at Twitter, twitter.com/Reiner_Conley, and check out the Facebook where you can leave a comment like, hey, the F are you shooting the show with a $1,000 camera for? Ya douche, we want high quality. I say to you, it will be quality. That was Chinese for it will be high quality. I don't know Chinese, I just messed up and wanted to redeem it, but then I realized, are people going to think that's racist? So then I was like, it's not Chinese. I'm going to go and I'll see you next Thursday. Ready?